Behold the Lamb. But Isaac spoke to Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. Then he said, Look, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, God will provide for himself the lamb for a burnt offering. So the two of them went together. Genesis 22, verses 7 and 8. Sometimes, serious students of the Bible refer to something called the law or rule of first mention. The general principle suggests it's always a good idea to look for the first time a principle or doctrine is mentioned in the Bible, because that first mention often sets the stage for understanding that same principle or doctrine throughout the rest of the Bible. Today's reading is a case in point. This is the first time a lamb is mentioned in the Old Testament. That comes as a surprise to many Bible students because there is an unspoken assumption that lambs first made their appearance outside the gates of Eden, when God clothed Adam and Eve with tunics of skin. The context of the rest of the Bible would suggest that the skins were probably made from lambs, but the account in Genesis does not state it explicitly. Likewise, given the frequency with which Jesus is compared to a lamb, there's more than 20 references in the book of Revelation alone, we know that Abel likely offered a lamb in obedience to God's request for sacrifice. But we infer that from our knowledge of Bible types and from the statement, Abel was a keeper of sheep. The first time a lamb is specifically mentioned in the Bible comes from the lips of the promised Son, who is also a symbol of Christ. Where is the lamb for the burnt offering? The Father's response, God will provide for himself the lamb. This foreshadows Jesus' statement to Nicodemus, where he identifies God the Father as the provider of the gift. See John 3:16. Interestingly, the earliest mention of a lamb in the New Testament is found in John's Gospel. Of course, there's an incidental mention of the Passover lamb in Mark 14, but that doesn't confer chronologically. The statement comes from the lips of John the Baptist, and it just so happens that it is a direct answer to both Isaac's query and our deepest need as sinners. Behold the Lamb. Who takes away the sins of the world.